and beyond.
He picked up counties last night that he hadn't won before. He far exceeded his performance with Latinos in either of the two previous races.
Weekdays from 9 to 10 on WTMJ.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, November 14th. Your top story, enhanced security for Kenosha schools.
I'm Jessica Ty. One state is still counting ballots.
Showers early today, then patchy fog, drizzly, kind of rainy day. Mostly cloudy, a high of 53. Cloudy tonight and a low of 43. Clouds resume on Friday with a high of 53. It is 48 degrees in Milwaukee. At 11:01 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom, efforts to enhance security and school safety taking place in Kenosha County.
The Kenosha Unified School District announced on Wednesday that it has begun reviewing its safety protocols after a middle school student showed up to an elementary school last week with replica airsoft guns. The district also stated that new camera monitors are being installed at all schools in the district, that is employing part-time school entrance monitors at the 7 schools currently without controlled entrances. The district has also called for $13 million in safety improvements to be added to the district-wide referendum on February 18th. Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
A Fond du Lac man pleads no contest to a charge of attempted homicide.
According to the criminal complaint, Fermin Teodoro Lopez Mendoza was accused of first-degree attempted homicide and domestic abuse for stabbing his wife in the stomach with a knife during an argument in March of last year. 3 remaining felony charges against Lopez Mendoza were dismissed, and he now faces up to 65 years in prison. Sentencing is scheduled for March 18th. David Azadi-Scott, WTMJ News.
A toddler is dead after being hit by a vehicle. Milwaukee police say the crash happened right before 12:30 Wednesday afternoon near 60th and Eustis on Milwaukee's north side. A car struck a 2-year-old, Angelo Berry, who ran into traffic. He later died at the hospital. Medical examiner says the cause of death is an accident. The 41-year-old driver remained on the scene before being arrested. Charges are pending.
Some local leaders are down in Tampa Bay right now for a summit where cooperation is key. Milwaukee Alderwoman Charlene Moore tells WTMJ she wants to learn how to better engage with GOP leaders in Madison.
We're going to have to continue to build relationships across the aisle so that we can continue to get the necessary resources for our city.
Other issues discussed at this summit include establishing equity among communities, crafting priority-based budgets, and how to fight homelessness.
A Senate race in Pennsylvania still too close to call.
Pennsylvania's Secretary of State ordering a recount in its Senate race, which our partners at Decision Desk HQ say is simply too close to call. The race between 3-term incumbent Democratic Senator Bob Casey and Republican businessman David McCormick is split by less than 0.5%. By Pennsylvania law, that is the threshold for triggering an automatic recount. Right now, McCormick has the lead by fewer than 27,000 votes, which could be enough that a recount won't actually change the result. However, officials say roughly 80,000 ballots still need to be counted, though many of them may be rejected. The recount has to be completed by November 26th.
A controversial website owned by conspiracy theorist Alex Jones is changing hands.
Alex Jones was ordered to pay $1.4 billion for defaming the families associated with the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre. He declared bankruptcy. A Texas judge appointed a trustee to oversee the sale of his assets. One asset, Jones's website, InfoWars. It's now been purchased by satirical website The Onion. Sandy Hook families agreed to forego part of their recovery to increase the value of The Onion's bid. They say this would end Jones's misinformation campaign. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything lagging here in the red. The Dow down about 85 points at 43,873. NASDAQ also off today about 40 points at 19,193. S&P 500 trailing about 15 points at 5971. Financial planning at every level. It's Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
Can we just take a moment to clap our hands? because the Bucks got 2 in a row. They got 2 wins in a row. And it was quite the game last night. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Sonny Unlimited WTMJ News Time is coming up on 11:05.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Happy Thanksgiving. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Built Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattress. If you're looking for affordable, better quality furniture or mattresses, you must do what my family did. Go to Built Right. Built Right's Black November deals and $1 million clearance sell-off is on now. It's all about your comfort, your style, your home at Built Right. 4 generations, 96 years strong. Built Right always saves you money. 3rd and 4th generation family members, they're right there in the store, working alongside their amazing team with over 400 years experience. Be ready for your holiday guests with thousands of furniture and mattress items in stock, including dining room, living room, bedroom, sleeper sofas, lift chairs, recliners, and much, much more. 60 models of USA-made mattresses, including flippable and heavy-duty models. Gift certificates available. Free in-store design services as well. Built Right voted best place to shop. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Tell them Vinny sent you to Built Right, 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. For the most part, the Packers are a healthy group coming out of the bye week with 52 players on the 53-man roster practicing. Packers on Sunday face a Bears team with an all-new offensive coordinator calling the plays.
I'm sure there's going to be some unscouted looks, but that could be every week, especially when you're going into a rivalry game.
That's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur, and what a night for the Bucs. Last night, outlasting the Pistons 127-120 in overtime, thanks in large part to Giannis, who scored nearly half of the team's points. He put up 59. The Bucs have won back-to-back games. They will next take the floor Saturday in Charlotte against the Hornets.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. No crashes to let you know about. Always love that. But it's kind of the morning of disabled vehicles. Especially out, if we take a look at Waukesha County, I've got boom, 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 1, 2, 3 disabled vehicles in just a short amount of space. Over by the Brookfield Square area, disabled vehicle on the exit to Moreland Road from 94 East. That's typically a busy spot. Also, I-94 East, a little bit beyond the ramp from Barker Road. Left shoulder is blocked there due to a car that's broken down. And then, one more, I-94 East hit the ramp from Barker Road. Left shoulder blocked due to a disabled vehicle. So just a heads up, it's kind of one of those mornings, a little rainy, a little misty. Hopefully the car's working okay and you don't run into a situation like this.
This traffic report is brought to you by Harwood Place Retirement Living in Wauwatosa. Located in the heart of Wauwatosa, Harwood Place Retirement Living's newly renovated apartments and updated pricing are changing the face of how to live your golden years. Visit harwoodplace.org.
Well, pretty consistent weather pattern continues today. Patchy fog, drizzly, mostly cloudy today, a high of 53. Cloudy tonight and a low of 43. Friday looks similar to today. No rain at all. Partly to mostly cloudy and a high of 53. Put it on repeat for Saturday with a high of 55. It's 49 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Were you giving me the rinse and repeat motion there? Was that what that was? I was going through the forecast.
Yeah, put it on rewind. I just went burp, 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 like a VCR, the old-fashioned days.
It's kind of what it is here. And for those who don't know what a VCR is, it's a video cassette recorder. You used to have it at your home. Gina's rolling her eyes back there. You may have had one growing up. I don't know. You might have hopped into the DVD world right away. I'm guessing Gina did not have a VCR at her house growing up. Maybe a late stage model.
I maybe late stage, but I definitely vividly remember watching all of my Scooby-Doo on VHS
Yeah,
tapes.
there you go. Yep. Right, very good. Well, it never in the beta phase. That's more of a TV news kind of thing. But yes,
Scooby-Doo was fabulous.
Yes.
That mystery van, that would be one of the disabled vehicles out on the system today.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be wild?
I would think so.
Be a spicier story if it was the mystery van. Scooby-Doo, where are you?
Mystery machine driving around downtown. 11:10 here on WTMJ, chasing some big stories here this morning.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, another twist in the case of the missing Wisconsin kayaker who police now say faked his own death. A video going viral online shows a person who looks very similar to Ryan Borgwart. The married father of 3 went missing in August after a kayaking trip at Green Lake. A search and rescue team spent weeks checking every inch of that lake. Investigators in Green Lake County now believe Borgwart left the country and went to Uzbekistan after meeting a woman online. Now, a TikTok video shot by a content creator back in June has surfaced showing a man on a bike coming up and asking this.
I go to Uzbekistan or stay here?
Say that one more time.
Content creator Bailey Boomhauer says she shot the video in San Diego in June. She recently alerted police that the man looks similar to Ryan Borgwart, the married father reported missing while kayaking in Wisconsin back in August. Boomhauer remembered the interaction as bizarre.
I've never even heard of that place before, so it's just a very odd parallel that the man that's missing is also connected to Uzbekistan.
But that's not all. Listen to the rest of the conversation with the content creator.
Why do you want to go?
Meet a woman?
So you've given up on meeting someone here?
No, I'm married.
Local investigators are teaming up with federal authorities on this case. And coming up at 11:35 here in Wisconsin's Midday News, the sheriff up in Green Lake County will join us to update us on the case and give us his take on that video.
You ever gone somewhere? You parked your car at the airport, you come back, you're not exactly sure, you don't remember exactly where your car's at, so you walk around the parking lot, hitting your unlock and lock button to see if you can hear a horn sound.
Yeah, see if you can hear the beep.
Right.
I like to take a picture.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I'm at AE, take a picture just in case you forget.
Well, what if your car just wasn't there at all?
Woo!
This is happening in multiple states, at least 5 in recent months. Police in Texas are now holding 3 men for questioning about a car theft ring targeting airports in at least 5 states. Jim Ryan has the story.
The thieves who prowled terminal parking garages in Texas, New Mexico, Louisiana, Nevada, and Utah didn't use a Slim Jim to pop door locks or a hammer to smash windows. Chris McLaughlin of DFW Airport says they use technology.
Cars today are susceptible to some of the same kind of hacking we see in other aspects of our society,
including spoof key fobs that might work on your car. DFW saw 10 thefts from its parking garages in 1 month alone. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Officials in Dallas calling it a coordinated and relatively sophisticated event. 3 of the 14 suspects involved are in custody.
Number 3, new hope in the fight against breast cancer. This is big. They're promising results from an early study of a vaccine.
The trial at Washington University looked at 18 women who had non-metastatic, high-risk, triple-negative breast cancer. Following standard treatment, the patients received 3 doses of the vaccine. After 3 years, 16 out of the 18 women remained cancer-free. And this is significant because historically only half of the patients would have been cancer-free.
ABC's Ava Pilgrim there. A phase 2 trial is currently underway. No timetable yet, though, for when it will be complete, but there's certainly urgency on this. According to the American Cancer Society, doctors will diagnose more than 300,000 new cases of breast cancer this year, and more than 40,000 women will die.
Coming up next, we chat with ABC's Jim Ryan, a congressional hearing on what might be flying around in space. Transparency is being sought. We'll talk about it after this.
The only place to get this.
Here's a pass from Dame up top to Giannis, who flushes it through on the alley-oop.
With some of this.
It's very early in the season, but you can only say that for so long. You are starting to walk down that block if these continue to mount.
Get it all on Bucks Talk, your all-encompassing Milwaukee Bucks postgame show with Justin Garcia and Brandon Snide. Only heard here on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. I want to tell you about Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center. Connect with Dan Krause if you've started to think about the idea of creating a will or an estate plan to protect what you've built and protect what you've earned. That's right. Your situation is very much custom to you. And Dan Krause and the team at Krause Estate Planning understand that through and through. They've been protecting your family's legacy since 1999. Dan, a former Army sergeant who was there for about 20 years, now has over 20 years experience with estate planning, helping his own family and friends at first and developing a business out of it. And over the decades, he has helped countless people through the process. Visit their office in Brookfield. They've got offices in Madison and in Oregon as well. It's Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center. If you want to learn more about the company, check out estateplanningpeople.com.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. Brands from Carhartt to Milwaukee to Purina to Goodyear to Rapala to Levi's and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
Annex Wealth Management. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning from a fee-only fiduciary. Forget commission sales pitches and financial products you don't need. Know the difference. Annex provides elite, comprehensive financial planning customized to who you are and what you need. AnnexWealth.com.
Well, if you like a little rain, lots of clouds, and temperatures in the 50s, this is the week for you because that's what you're getting. Almost entirely, exclusively, temperatures in the mid-50s throughout the course of the week here. Chance of rain kind of gone for the rest of the day, but it will be cloudy. Tomorrow's high, 53 degrees. It's 49 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:17. Over the past year, legislatures have been pushing laws to boost UFO transparency. These are now called UAPs, by the way. I did not know that, but here we are. One seeking to create a civilian reporting mechanism. Others are trying to direct the executive branch to declassify records. What they're asking for here is transparency. And on Wednesday, a new slate of witnesses provided fresh testimony to Congress on UFO or UAP sightings and what the government may or may not know about them. Yes, this is what we're doing here. We welcome in ABC's Jim Ryan. We assume Jim is a human. Jim, welcome to the program here. What are the great revelations from yesterday's proceedings?
None really. This, if you call it a show and tell session, it was a lot of tell, not a lot of show. Remember last year, Greg, we had a similar hearing like this, and they had videos, and they had some pretty shocking revelations from the testimony. Yesterday, a shorter session, about 2 hours, but the witnesses testifying, they did have some pretty strong resumes. Former government officials, somebody from NASA, a former naval rear admiral, folks who have been involved in this kind of thing for a long time, to talk with the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability in a session that was called Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, that's UAP, Exposing the Truth. So I think a lot of those lawmakers already had their minds made up that something's going on.
Right, yeah, just the fact that it said exposing the truth in that title. What are some of the biggest unusual encounters that have been reported?
Well, I think the most notable in the last couple of years, or the one at least that came to light in the last couple of years, was that video of two F-18s. I think they were F-18s, maybe F-15s, that were they spotted something as they were doing exercises off the coast, and they captured video of this thing zooming along. You hear the pilots talking in separate airplanes to each other about what they were witnessing. That was probably some of the most convincing evidence that a lot of people have seen in the last 10 years or so. I think it was actually recorded in maybe 2017 or something, but only recently became public. So, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing. But, I mean, just going to Netflix or any of the streaming services, and you're going to find all sorts of shows that purport to give us video of some of these UAPs doing their thing out there, Jessica.
Yeah, and a lot of people kind of get addicted to this. But what are some of the reasonable explanations for UFOs, or now called UAPs?
Drones. Drones are a big one now within the last 10, 15 years or so. a foreign government's defense technology. That's one that, or our own defense technology that some civilian happens to see and mistakes for something from outer space. But and of course you also have, and this was a new one that I hadn't even thought about before. Maybe it's not Americans, maybe it's not the Russians, maybe it's not human intelligence, and maybe it's not alien intelligence from outer space. Maybe it's artificial intelligence. That is working up this kind of thing, either creating the illusions or creating the actual craft or the phenomena that we're seeing out there. So that carries all sorts of implications if you take it to the logical extension that artificial intelligence has already gotten out of hand. It's building this kind of technology, these sorts of I don't even want to go into it, but that's kind of the latest theory.
For whatever reason, Wisconsin lawmakers are really behind understanding what's going on here. Former Congressman Mike Gallagher, that was his world. Glenn Grothman's subcommittee held the hearing along with Mace's yesterday. So I don't know why Wisconsinites are so into this, but nevertheless, here we are. It doesn't just require a tour of Area 51 to understand what really is going on here, Jim.
No, probably not. Yeah, and would that mean anything? It could be that Area 51 sort of become the symbol for government secrecy when it comes to UFOs, UAPs, whatever it might be. There might be nothing out there at all, but it still stands as a great symbol of this controversy that's been brewing since the late 1940s and continues to this day and only gets wider. You look at the latest Gallup polling, 4 in 10 Americans think some UFOs that people have spotted have been alien spacecraft visiting the Earth from somewhere else. So this fairly big, not majority yet, but a fairly big percentage of Americans think that there's something way beyond what we're seeing now.
The U.S. is accused of having UAP crash retrieval programs. What do we know about that?
Yes, that was one thing that came up yesterday, that not only do we have some of this stuff that we found, alien aircraft or foreign aircraft or whatever it might be, spacecraft or watercraft. That's why, by the way, they don't call it UFOs anymore, because they also encompass things that are seen in the water, weird objects that are seen in the water. So, yes, there is this theory or this thinking that we heard from testimony yesterday that the government does have some of this stuff in its possession, that it's reverse engineering it, trying to turn it into something we can use.
Why the need for the transparency? There are some things that happen in our country that I'm cool not knowing the ins and outs of.
Well, but some people do want to know. And, we're spending a lot of money on research for this sort of thing, and some people say that it's misallocated. That's why this hearing, it's notable, it was the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability, because some of the respondents, the witnesses, were saying, maybe this money is being misallocated if it's being used to deceive the Americans who are paying in that money. We have a new administration coming in, a whole new White House administration, a new Congress, Greg, and it's likely perhaps that a lot of folks in that new batch of legislators will want to see perhaps more hearings over the next few years.
Well, I don't know about Greg, but if there are flying saucers with little green men on them, I want to know more.
Well, it would be earth-shaking. And there are 2 reasons, I think, that the government, that the Defense Department or whoever, they keep these things relatively quiet. A, the thinking that if they expose too much, then they let other governments know what our technology is like. How do we know that that's happening? Well, because we have technology to detect this. But the other thing is, if we found out what Jessica said is true, that we have alien visitors from somewhere else, it'd be the biggest news in the history of the world. Yeah. Imagine how people would react.
Well, if it happens, we will likely get one of those little green men on our program here, Wisconsin's Midday News. Jim Ryan, we always appreciate your time. We'll check in again soon. Thank you.
Thanks, see you guys.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, West Bend Vacuum Center and CertaPro Painters. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. At 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
I got some notes and emails sent throughout the company today. People had a lot of fun last night at Trivia, joining Vinny and Greg Hill, part of our Capco Kids to Kids initiative, the Trivia Showdown, week number 2, brought to you by Quizmaster, happening next week, Wednesday. Mark your calendar. Next week, Wednesday, November 20th. It'll be at the Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls. You've heard me talk about the Hounds and Tap for a couple of years now. It is the go-to place for anything related to your dog. Boarding, grooming, doggy daycare, you name it. If you just want to hang out and enjoy a beverage, watch a game, you can do it too. Food trucks are commonplace at the Hounds and Tap. Really is a fun place to hang out with or without your dog. So if you want to check out Trivia, Capco, Kids to Kids initiative, bring an unwrapped toy, unused toy to the Hounds and Tap next week, Wednesday, November 20th from 7 to 9, Hounds and Tap in Menominee Falls. I'll be there with Eric Bilstad. You can play for a chance to win some prizes, some great prizes that they'll be giving away. Bring a toy or come ready to donate to help support local kids in Wisconsin. If you can't make it out there for whatever reason, you can also help Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive with a donation. Just text the word Capco, that's K-A-P-C-O, to the WTMJ Talk and Text line. That's 855-616-1620. You can make a donation there. But we hope to see you next week. I'd love to see you at the Hounds and Tap. If you've not checked out that place and you're a dog owner, even if you're not, come check it out and see what's new at the Hounds and Tap. Such a cool place. Eric and I will be there for Trivia next week, Wednesday, from 7 to 9.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
All right, have you heard of Blue Sky?
Is that a beer with you put the orange on it? Sounds good.
That's a Blue Moon.
Oh, and they have a Light Sky, which is their light version.
They
okay,
do.
Yep, no, I've mixed it up. No,
They
so
do
in other
now.
words, no, I don't.
So I really hadn't heard of Blue Sky either, but just in the last couple of days, I saw a couple people on social media posting, connect with me here, connect with me there. And I noticed it because the graphics looked nice. It was kind of something shiny and new. And I thought, okay, their company's onto something there. It's a smart move. But as I looked, you had Facebook, you had Twitter and this and that, but there was one with a butterfly logo, and I just wasn't familiar with it. So I thought, what's that, right? And I saw it, not one person's, but two people. And then there was like another one that popped up. Here's the thing. This is starting to become a big deal. Blue Sky just hit number 1 in the App Store. So what's happening is a lot of people are switching from X, formerly known as Twitter, and they're moving over to this new social media platform called Blue Sky. And I don't know about you, Greg, but a lot of people right now are just watching this exodus. Just a mass group of people leaving X.
I have noticed that, and I would say that I've lost probably 100 followers over the course of the last couple of weeks, and I think there's a lot of bots in your Twitter feed that end up becoming part of your followers, and after the election, those bots just sort of go away, and there might be new bots that get created over time. So not every tweet or everything sent on X is coming from an actual human being. So Blue Sky, to me, looks a lot like Twitter or X, right? It's sort of a scrolling feed where a user with a handle can sort of say whatever they would like to say. My wonder is just how different is it than what Twitter, now X, has become? Because if it really is sort of the same thing, or evolves, or maybe devolves into the same thing, well, what's the point in having two options?
Well, and that's the thing, because we've seen this before where all of a sudden Elon Musk does something that people just hate with Twitter. They're like, I'm done with this, I'm done with X. But then you have people who trickle back. You also have people who say that and then don't really leave. But this, after the election, this seems different. It feels different. You can see it in the numbers. A lot of people are leaving. And then the numbers also speak for this new platform, Blue Sky, because it's seen a record surge of over 1 million new signups just since the election.
It's very new. No
That's
doubt
a big
about
deal.
that. There's a lot of pictures of cats so far. I see a lot of pictures of cats.
I think you also have to, though. I mean, what's the positive of doing this? What's the negative? Trying to rebuild an audience for a lot of people, depending on what you do. Say you're a content creator or you're social media for a big Milwaukee company. Trying to rebuild that audience that you've possibly had for maybe 10, 15 years, that doesn't happen overnight.
No.
I mean, so that's tough. But there also apparently, there's some actual logical features that people like on Blue Sky. It has a robust set of safety and content moderation tools, including a block feature that people really like, and that was something that was very controversial on X as well. So we'll see, but Blue Sky could be the next big thing.
It's 11:30 on WTMJ. News coming up.
A lot of negative criticism has come from the fact that we voice our own radio ads. You sound unprofessional, you sound like you're from the UP, you sound like a couple of dopey farmers. Oh, the comments we've had.
Ben and Arvid Huth, brothers and owners of Penny Mustard Furnishings.
We don't want to sound like everybody else. We don't want to sound super professional. We want to sound like who we are, and this is who we are.
You know, I take things personally a lot faster than what you do. I get all bent out of shape about it, and you're just like, don't worry about it. That's just one person's opinion, you know. And in reality, you're right.
It's not about them liking us. It's about us being who we are.
You know, we want to have good furniture, goes into the home, makes for a happy customer for a long time, and at the same time, we want to have good employees. We want to take care of our employees. We want to support the local craftsmen so they can support their families and their communities. It's what we do.
See more at pennymustard.com.
Like us or hate us, it's what we do.
Helping people and families seriously injured in accidents and standing up for victims to take the burden off their shoulders. Greg Matzik here. Want to tell you about Gruber Law Offices. If you've been hurt in an accident, you make a call to Gruber and they handle the legal aspect while you focus on healing. It's what they've been doing for 40 years here in the state of Wisconsin. Gruber, locally known, nationally recognized. They have got a powerful personal injury firm, one of the best in the Midwest, right here in Milwaukee. Visit gruber-law.com. Learn more about the firm, see how they give back to the community, and make that call if you need. 414-276-6666.
I love the Fox and Hounds. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The historic restaurant was recently voted the best supper club in the area. First opened in 1933, and they've been serving fabulous dinners for almost 90 years in their rustic timber structure. The Friday codfish fry is all you care to eat. It's $17.99. All other dinners are buy one, get one free. And the best part of the meal, I think, is the made-from-scratch desserts. Also, buy one, get one free. I love the peanut butter cake. Oh, my gosh, that pie is fantastic. Add a Manhattan, an old-fashioned, 100 wines to accent your dinner. The Fox and Hounds is family-owned and one of the most unique and affordable supper clubs in Wisconsin. Your second dinner is always free. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east and in the shadows of the beautiful Holy Hill Shrine. As the seasons change colors, the drive is just beautiful, a must-see. Enjoy the all-you-care-to-eat Friday cod fish fry, and the Sunday brunch is delicious. Tables are still open. Reserve now at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. Your top story, concern for a new resident coming to New Berlin.
I'm Jessica Ty. Not enough evidence of wrongdoing in Madison.
Showers ending, patchy fog and drizzle today, mostly cloudy and a high of 53. It's 49 and cloudy in Milwaukee. A registered sex offender in New Berlin who police say has the potential to reoffend will be able to live close to a public park. All because of a loophole. Nicholas Weaver is set to be released next week.
He's had multiple offenses, the most recent, a sexual enticement of a 14-year-old girl. He's going to live at a home on Linfield Drive, which is very close to Weatherstone Park. In fact, it's within 500 feet, which violates the New Berlin ordinance for sex offenders. So why can he live there? Well, during a notification hearing on Wednesday night, police explained to residents the man can be there because he lived there before the ordinance ever went into effect, which means, according to cops, he's grandfathered in. Weaver will be under GPS monitoring. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Not enough evidence to prove sexual harassment by a Madison alderperson. 3 women accused Alderman Charles Miazzi of domestic violence and sexual harassment in April. That prompted Dane County elected officials to call for his resignation. The City of Madison Council President says while the investigation found insufficient evidence that Miazzi violated the city's harassment policies, it revealed a troubling pattern of behavior that prompted changes to the Common Council's Code of Conduct and reporting structure. Criminal charges against Miazzi have not been filed.
Cutting Waukesha County's tax rate for the 11th straight year. Just one of the results of the county's 2025 budget being approved today. Budget funds would also go to help the Sheriff's Department for jail operations, mental health services, and fighting the opioid crisis, and continued infrastructure improvements off Moreland Road. The total budget for the county is nearly $400 million.
Johnson Level & Tool is ending manufacturing at its Mequon plant, leaving 45 workers without a job. The closure will be carried out in phases, with the first set to begin in March. Product design, engineering, and innovation services are expected to continue at the site. The company is offering roles at its distribution facility in Richfield to the laid-off Mequon workers.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sighting and Limited. WTMJ News Time is 11:35.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Fredert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin, so there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit fredert.com/cancer.
The King is back in the building this holiday season. Dean Z, the ultimate Elvis Christmas spectacular. Join us as Elvis Presley Enterprises world champion tribute artist Dean Z and his 12-piece band take you on a high-energy musical journey spanning the electrifying career of the King of Rock and Roll, featuring Elvis's greatest hits along with the King's best holiday classics. Friday, December 13th at the Riverside Theater in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Get your tickets now at papstheatergroup.com.
Is it time to give your home a new look?
Absolutely.
Get personal care from Adair. Adair Floors and Remodeling has a design team ready to help with all flooring and remodeling needs, including tub to shower conversions. Want to create your dream kitchen, including cabinets? How about the rec room? Adair Floors and Remodeling has been family run in Franklin for over 65 years. For floors and all home remodeling needs, get personal care from Adair. Adair Floors and Remodeling, South 27th Street in Franklin, and online at adairfloors.com.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports desk. The Packers, a healthy group coming out of the bye with 52 players on the 53-man roster practicing. Packers take on the Bears Sunday afternoon in Chicago. Bucks have won back-to-back games. They'll next take the floor Saturday in Charlotte against the Hornets.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Just one crash. It's in Washington County, 4145 north, right by Holy Hill Road. Right shoulder is blocked due to a crash.
Traffic is sponsored by Lynch McQuanago. The place you want to go. Lynch McQuanago.
Chevrolets, Fords, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams. All in one location. The place you want to go. Lynch McQuanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Patchy fog and some drizzle today, mostly cloudy, a high of 53. Partly to mostly cloudy on Friday and a high of 53. 49 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 11:38.
So at the top of the show, we told you about another twist in the case of the missing Wisconsin kayaker who police now believe faked his own death. The married father of 3 went missing in August after a kayaking trip at Green Lake. And there's this TikTok video going viral right now showing a person who looks very similar to Ryan Borgwart. The guy is talking with a content creator, asking if he should go to Uzbekistan to meet a woman. He also acknowledges he's married. Is it our missing man? Or is it some other guy? Let's get the sheriff's take and an update on this case. Green Lake County Sheriff Mark Podol joins us live on Wisconsin's Midday News. First things first, Sheriff, is this the most bizarre case you've ever investigated?
Yes, it has been.
So what is your take on this video? Do you think this is the guy?
No. We did some investigation into it, and it is not Ryan.
Okay, well, boom. That's good to know. So right there, Sheriff saying no, they do not believe this is the guy. Are you getting more tips like this to help out with your investigation?
We're getting a number of tips, and we weed through them and see which ones are pertinent and pertain to what we have going on. But we have been receiving a lot more tips the last couple of days.
The latest social media videos, Sheriff, there are some striking similarities and coincidences that could lead one to believe this is, in fact, the guy you've been looking for. What draws you to that conclusion that you're so sure it's not?
Looking at the facial recognition and just the information that we have, does not appear that is him on that video.
What does your department's good detective work now know that this man did?
That he staged his own death on our lake, that he then vanished, that he entered Canada in some way. We do not know exactly yet. We're waiting for more information from that. And that we believe, is in Eastern Europe.
Sheriff, when did you realize that something wasn't right and this man did not drown in Green Lake? What was the turning point for you and your department?
October 4th, when I met with Keith from Bruce's Legacy, reviewing all the data that he had and shown that we covered every inch of water that we could on our western basin, and that Keith, the expertise that he has, stated that he just could not find him there.
Yeah, we spoke to Keith a couple days ago about this whole thing, and he was sort of dumbfounded and led to believe after that he exhausted that search that the man was still out there somewhere. So is it important to you, Sheriff, to find him, know that he's alive, bring him back? Like, what's the end goal here?
Well, the first thing is, yes, we want to make sure that he is safe, and that, it wasn't a scam. The other thing is that we want to bring him back for his family. We are in the process right now of reviewing things to seeing what charges, if any, that we would have on him.
How is his family doing? Because this is such a wild story, but at the end of the day, this is a husband. This is a dad of 3.
They're doing okay.
Do you have regular communication with the family?
With the wife.
I can't imagine what it's like to explain to a woman that her husband, who people thought drowned, you have that emotion of, oh my goodness, my husband probably drowned in this lake. And then you tell her that he may have faked his death instead and left the country. I know you can't tell us all the details, but what can you tell us about that conversation and then getting her to work with your team to hopefully bring this to a resolution?
It was very emotional on both days. But I think the most important and part of it is the people trust us. They are not ones that point fingers and tell us what we need to do. We're the experts in this, and it goes a long ways when you got a cooperation from a family, especially the wife, that'll assist us in any way that they can.
Sheriff, was it a member of your team that approached his wife and said, we think he's still alive? Or did the wife come to you and say, I'm not convinced his body is in that lake?
No. One of my sergeants and myself went and spoke with her.
Do you think Ryan is seeing any of this coverage? I mean, The world has picked up on this story now. BBC, I know, picked up on the story the other day. Do you think he is seeing any of the coverage? Do you think he knows that you're on to him?
I don't know, but all the media that we've had contact with, I would certainly think that he has seen or knows that we know what's going on.
What are the odds this man comes home? What is your gut saying? I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, and you've seen a lot of cases, nothing like this, but what is your gut saying? Do you think he's going to return?
I think he's got to pull at his heartstrings and know what's important in his life, his children. That's the biggest thing, and if he is seeing this and knows what's going on, I'm hoping that he has love in his heart for them to return.
Ah, man, thinking about that family. Thank you so much for your hard work on this case and everyone on your team as well. Green Lake County Sheriff Mark Podol joining us on Wisconsin's Midday News to update us on the case, this wild case of the missing Wisconsin kayaker who police now believe faked his own death. We appreciate your time, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Sonic Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:45. Our weekly wellness check with Dr. Weston coming up next.
Your current car? Soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score for Choice and Platinum Choice checking customers. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit score from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Well, if you got a garage door issue, I want to turn you on to Geis, geisdoors.com. You know the name, right? They've been around for a long time doing it right. For swift, reliable garage repair solutions, you check out geisdoors.com. I've been to their showroom in Brookfield, right off Barker Road. Could not believe how many doors and openers they had in stock, and that could mean a very quick turnaround time for you. If you've got a custom project, Geis can help you with that as well. Trusted brands in-house like CHI and LiftMasters, doors and openers for every budget. That custom design room, very cool. Swift, reliable solutions are available for you at geisdoors.com. Visit that showroom in Brookfield. Regardless, don't think twice. Call Geis.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Hey, Dan, another satisfied client.
Yeah?
Marlo just told me that having organized spaces has completely reset the tone of their household.
I bet they're easily finding what they need.
Yep, their shoes, their coats.
They can find their keys. They aren't tripping over toys.
Exactly, because everything has a place.
Changing lives one space at a time. Let us help you calm your chaos today at Inspired Closets. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
A wife and husband team.
When severe weather hits and the power goes out, do you have a plan? For reliable power and peace of mind, propane can do that. It only takes about 10 seconds for a propane-powered generator to restore power to your home. So no matter what Mother Nature has in store, you know you're prepared. Learn more at WIPGA.org. This message is sponsored by your local propane provider and the Wisconsin Propane Education and Research Council.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Time for a weekly wellness check with Dr. Ben Weston, Associate Professor of Emergency Medicine at the Medical College of Wisconsin, also Chief Health Policy Advisor for Milwaukee County. Hi, Dr. Weston.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Yeah, great to have you on here. So exciting development here. Milwaukee County EMS set to become the first in Wisconsin and one of the first in the nation to provide whole blood transfusions to trauma patients in the field. It's an exciting advancement here, but how will the field-based blood transfusion program elevate emergency care here in the county?
Yeah, so we're excited about this. Milwaukee County's EMS system, so ambulance care system, started just over 50 years ago, and through that history, we've really been at the forefront of providing patient care. Now, being the first program to offer blood of this type in Wisconsin, one of the first fire-based, as you mentioned, in the nation, offers this level of emergency care that really keeps that record of innovation moving forward. So this means that folks out there with life-threatening bleeding after a trauma, whether it's a gunshot, a motor vehicle crash, a fall, can receive life-saving blood before arriving at the hospital. And that's why this program will really save lives in Milwaukee County.
So how is it different from what's happening today, and why is it so beneficial?
Yeah, it really is a game changer. So for trauma patients who've lost a significant amount of blood, what we've done before, what EMS agencies around the country do, is give standard IV fluids. So that's saline. It's really just salt water. It dilutes the blood. And while it has some effects, like increasing your blood pressure, it doesn't allow blood to do its job. And that job is to deliver oxygen to the brain and to the rest of the body. So giving that same patient blood instead of salt water, giving them what was lost, that blood, allows for more meaningful recovery. And in fact, data shows that there's a 2% increase in deaths with every 1 minute delay in getting blood. 2% increase in deaths with every minute. So this is a situation where minutes truly count.
So what does it take for something like this to happen, Dr. Weston? How does it come about that this new blood transfusion program comes to life here in Milwaukee?
Yeah, so bringing blood transfusions to the field is and was no small feat. And it truly is an inspiring example of what's possible when our community comes together to have a program like this and try to save lives. So like everything that happens in our EMS system, it was a team effort. The Milwaukee County Office of Emergency Management spearheading these efforts, partnering with the Medical College of Wisconsin, with local fire departments, with Versity Wisconsin Blood Bank to make this a reality. So it's evaluating best practices, looking into research and evidence, creating new guidelines and policies, paramedic education, and then all the logistics that go into how to get blood from the blood bank all the way to the patient, every step in between without missing or wasting a single drop. So it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of collaboration, but the payoff is Milwaukee County EMS leading the way in providing care and keeping our community healthy.
Yeah, big payoff there. We're talking with Dr. Ben Weston for a weekly wellness check. Dr. Weston, cold and flu season. Yes, it's ramping up. Many people are reaching for those over-the-counter medications to ease symptoms. But you've got the FDA's recent proposal to pull products with phenylephrine from shelves due to concerns about its effectiveness, which is so interesting because a lot of people are like, well, what the heck? We've been buying this for years. So why is the FDA proposing that medications with this ingredient be removed from store shelves? And what does it mean exactly?
Yeah, so the FDA recently made this proposal to take oral phenylephrine. So this is a key ingredient in a lot of over-the-counter decongestants, things like Sudafed PE, even Dayquil, to take these off the shelf. And it's not, importantly, it's not because it's unsafe, but it's because it may not be as effective as it was once thought. So for decades, phenylephrine has been a go-to for congestion, for stuffy noses. But what the recent research is showing is that when it's taken in a pill form, it doesn't potentially work much better than just a sugar pill. And so that what the FDA is doing now, they're launching this 6-month period. It's a comment period where experts, manufacturers, the public can weigh in. They gather all the evidence, they review it, and will make a final decision. So, like you say, it's hard to say, well, we've been doing this forever. Why all of a sudden now? But sometimes this is how science works and how the FDA works. New studies, new evidence comes out. We got to reevaluate our assumptions of what works and what doesn't. So this is the FDA doing due diligence to ensure that our medications are safe and effective. But if you are somebody who regularly uses these, it could be a good time to explore other options. What else is on the shelf?
Yeah, what are those other options, some alternatives to phenylephrine?
Yeah, so one is pseudoephedrine, so like Sudafed, and that's available over the counter. It's often kept behind the pharmacy counter, but you have to ask for it, and that's effective. If you're looking for something that's right on the shelf, there's a lot of nasal sprays out there. And importantly, phenylephrine, this drug we're talking about, in the spray form, it does work. It's the pill form that is questionable. So phenylephrine sprays, oxymetazoline, or Afrin is the often brand name of it. These are a way to quickly relieve stuffiness. You only want to use them for a few days, or you can have this rebound and your congestion actually gets worse. And then there's a lot of more natural things, saline nasal sprays, certainly drinking lots of water to stay hydrated. Steam inhalation can help with the stuffiness as well. So there's a few different options out there aside from this medication.
Sometimes when people are going for like a cold or flu medicine, they're only looking at the label to see the exact dosage. And hopefully they're looking at the label for at least that. But there are other things you can look for too. I remember one time I was feeling not the best, but I thought I don't really need all of the medicine for the flu. I just need medicine for this. So I was really examining the labels. What should most people be looking for when they, turn that bottle over and start reading the label?
Yeah, well, this is why it's important to read the label. A lot of times these cold and congestion, cold and cough medications, they got a lot of ingredients in them. And so you may be treating more than one symptom. Take a look at those active ingredients. A lot of products contain multiple active ingredients. So you want to understand what's in it. You don't want to double up, especially on things like Tylenol or acetaminophen is the generic term. You don't want to double up on that. That can be dangerous. And you also don't want to take things that you don't need. If you don't have the cough, don't take the cough medicine. Now, with phenylephrine, it's a lot of these combination cold medicines like Dayquil that have these. So you may not be getting quite the relief you're hoping for. But the bottom line is if you're unsure, ask the pharmacist. They are experts in this. They're incredible resources. They can help you find what's an effective option that won't interfere with your other medications. It won't interfere with your pre-existing conditions. And they really tend to stay very up to date on these latest products and what works and what doesn't.
Always great information. Dr. Ben Weston, our weekly wellness check. Appreciate it, Dr. Ben. We'll check in again next week.
All right. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep, you take care as well. 11:56 here on WTMJ. News is coming up.
The Upswing is your place for commerce and community.
Can it be a little hard to be a parent and a coach at the same time? I'm asking for a friend myself.
Hosted by Jeff Sherman.
I find myself, especially at basketball games with my children, literally sitting and physically putting my hand over my mouth.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. Want to get you out to Flanner's Home Entertainment. If you've not been there before, you are missing out. It is a treat to step inside a Flanner's store. Just so cool. Great people as well. They've got all the stuff to help upgrade the system at your home. Whatever that system is, video, audio, you name it. Bigger screen for movie night or the big game, higher resolution, better picture, better sound. They can wire up your entire house if that's what you need. Speakers in the ceilings. You know what I'm talking about, the fancy stuff. Also, if you're just in the need for something small, cables or maybe a Bluetooth speaker, the right bracket to hold that TV on the wall. Whatever the case, Flanner's has the experts and great solution people working for you. Locally owned Flanner's in West Dallas, Grafton, and anytime you want to shop at Flanners.com. Quality service, the best brands, guaranteed best price. They are top priorities. Forget about the big box stores. Forget about the risky online purchases. Go with trusted, locally owned Flanner's. It's sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey. Riding with you every mile since 1977.
David Nason here, your trusted Fix-It-Show guy, here to give you some essential home maintenance advice. If you're dealing with leaks, stains, cracks in your basement, it's time to call the experts I trust at Accurate Basement Repair. They've fixed many of our listeners' basements and the results were fantastic. Dry, secure, and peace of mind restored. Don't let basement issues mess up your home. Trust Accurate Basement Repair to get the job done right. Call them today.
Thanks, David. Accurate Basement Repair. We're not just good, we're accurate.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Don't miss our Ag Black Friday event at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. This Friday through Sunday, shop unbeatable Black Friday-like prices on brands you know and trust to keep your farm going strong. Like Guardian Premium Pine Bedding, just $4.50 a bag. Save $20 on 200-pound AgriMaster All-Natural Cattle Protein Tubs, only $54.99. And Waukesha Sure Tread Barn Lime is priced to fly, just $2 a bag. Stock up and save on the farm supplies you need during Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Ag Black Friday event.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 12:01. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, November 14th. Your top story, dying after running into the street.
I'm Jessica Ty. Another Walgreens closes in Milwaukee.
Patchy fog and drizzle today, mostly cloudy, a high of 53 degrees. Partly to mostly cloudy on Friday, a high of 53. It's currently 49 and cloudy in Milwaukee. Approaching 12:02 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom, a toddler is dead after being struck by a vehicle. Milwaukee police say the crash happened right before about 12:30 on Wednesday near 60th and Eustis on Milwaukee's north side. A car struck a 2-year-old who ran into traffic. He later died at the hospital. The medical examiner says the cause of the death is an accident. The 41-year-old driver remained on the scene before being arrested. Charges are pending.
New questions today about whether the Department of Justice will act independently moving forward. There are doubts after President-elect Donald Trump nominated longtime ally Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General. ABC's Jay O'Brien.
The House Ethics Committee doing its own investigation into Matt Gaetz and allegations that he facilitated the sex trafficking of a 17-year-old girl and other allegations. Dick Durbin, the current chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, who will no longer be the chair come January when Republicans take control of the Senate, has called on the House Ethics Committee to hold on to its report, to transmit it over to the Senate so that they can review it if Gaetz genuinely does go up in front of the Senate to be considered for the nomination.
Some Republican senators are questioning Gaetz's fitness to hold the post.
Well, dock workers along the East and Gulf Coasts could once again be looking at time on the picket line. News Nation's Nick Smith.
Both sides far apart on the issue of automation. Here's the problem. The ports are for automation, but the dock workers argue it will kill jobs. The union temporarily ended a 3-day strike back in October, and the two sides have until January 15th to reach a new deal or risk another walkout.
Port managers say the addition of new equipment won't come at the expense of jobs, a claim dock workers union says is untrue.
Waukesha County Executive Paul Farrow puts pen to the paper on the county's next budget.
The nearly $400 million budget comes with a slight county property tax levy increase, but drops the overall county tax rate to its lowest point in more than 3 decades. Farrow notes over 40% of the county budget will fund state-mandated programs, while the county will net just under $5 million in shared revenue. The budget will also target operational support for the sheriff's office and includes $1.5 million to replace a salt dome that fully collapsed in January. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Another Walgreens is scheduled to close in December. Customers who use the Walgreens at MLK Drive and Hadley will have until December 5th to shop. The store will close 2 days after the Walgreens at 91st and Appleton is scheduled to close. It marks the third location in Milwaukee to close this year. Part of the company's plan to close roughly 1,200 stores nationwide by 2027.
Facebook's parent company Meta faces a courtroom battle over a government lawsuit that could change the way we all use social media. CBS's Kelly O'Grady explains.
Now, the FTC says Meta overpaid for Instagram in 2012 and WhatsApp in 2014 because it saw them as threats. When we spoke with Meta, it told us it feels confident the evidence will show these deals have been, quote, good for competition and consumers.
The FTC first launched the complaint in December 2020, near the end of the first Trump administration.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red here this afternoon. The Dow down about 115 points at 48,844. NASDAQ looking to rally, currently down about 62 points at 19,169. S&P 500 off about 20 today at 5967. Financial planning at every level. It's Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:05.
This report is sponsored by Uline. Visit uline.com today.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at Right Choice Tax Resolution Services. The IRS has you in their crosshairs. We are local and know how to deal with the IRS or state to review and solve your situation. Just the other week, we successfully removed the target on Tim. He had been audited and was told he owed the IRS. We fought the notice and got him a refund instead. We also were successful with Nate to get $94,000 of penalties removed. This is why we started Right Choice Tax Resolution, to help people fight the IRS and state. You don't know the ins and outs of taxes or the more than 20 penalties they can impose on you. Make the right choice and call us at 844-222-1192. We want to help so your bank account doesn't get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security garnished, or a lien put on your house. Get rid of that stress and get back to enjoying life. Call us at 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us right now to book a meeting. We understand how stressful this can be. The situation won't go away if you do nothing. That's 844-222-1192 or rightchoicetax.us.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Packers, a pretty healthy bunch coming off the bye week. 52 of the 53 players on the roster practicing. The team Sunday faces a Bears team that has a new offensive coordinator.
I'm sure there's going to be some unscouted looks, but that could be every week, especially when you're going into a rivalry game.
Packers head coach Matt LaFleur and the Bucs have won back-to-back games. They travel to Charlotte to face the Hornets on Saturday.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. We do have a new crash. I-43 north at 145, that's the Fond du Lac Avenue area. The left lane is blocked right now due to a crash, and that area is tight. It has a lot of traffic. Once again, 43 north at Fond du Lac Avenue. A tow truck is there now. I just watched the tow truck kind of pull that white car that was involved in the crash up onto the truck. So hopefully in the next 10 minutes or so, that will be out of here and traffic will be moving along fine. But right now, traffic is going a little bit slower as it's passing that crash.
Traffic is sponsored by Annex Wealth Management. It's time to know the difference, and Annex Wealth Management is ready to help with investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning as a fee-only fiduciary partner. AnnexWealth.com. Click the Get Started button.
Patchy fog and drizzle today, mostly cloudy skies, a high of 53, overnight low of 43. Partly to mostly cloudy on Friday, 53 the high, 55 the high on Saturday. Next chance of rain looks to be Sunday morning, just a slight chance, however. Temperatures kind of staying between 53 and 59 for the next several days. It is 49 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Well, you made it to Thursday already. Hour number 2 of Wisconsin's Midday News. Jessica, back-to-back late nights, of course, watching the Bucks. You've seen back-to-back wins now.
Yeah,
we're
2
gonna
in a
dive.
row.
It's our Bucks Insiders Day. We're going to dive in a little deeper with Steve Novak later this hour, but what a crazy game last night. It was like 6 games in one.
Wow. Honestly, it started off like the worst game and ended as the best game.
Yes, just like that. We'll chronicle an amazing night for the Bucks coming up at about 12:35. Steve Novak's going to be our guest. Joel Brennan of the Greater Milwaukee Committee will join us in about 10 minutes. Some big stories that we're following here, approaching 12:10.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
President-elect Donald Trump continues to make progress filling out his cabinet. He also continues to raise eyebrows with some of his selections. There's a new warning from a Trump transition official after Trump nominated Congressman Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General. ABC's Alex Malin covers the Justice Department.
This is an attorney, Mark Paletta, top advisor to the transition team. He previously represented Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's wife, Ginny Thomas, in her dealings with the January 6th Select Committee. He has issued a really specific warning over his social media site saying that any Justice Department employees who do not want to fall in line with the political appointees put forward by President-elect Trump should either resign or get out of the way.
The nomination of Gaetz requires Senate approval, and that could be a sticking point here. Ohio Senator and Republican Max Miller weighs in.
I just think it's silly. I believe that the president is probably rewarding him for being such a loyal soldier to the president. But the president is smart enough and his team is smart enough to know that Mr. Gaetz will never get confirmed by the Senate.
If confirmed, Gaetz would lead the Department of Justice, and that's the department that for years led an investigation into his alleged obstruction of justice and alleged sex trafficking.
Well, not even Christmas, but never too early to talk baseball. The Brewers today announcing details of their upcoming regular season schedule and some nuggets for spring training as well. Opening day, we knew the date, Monday, March 31st. Didn't know the time until today. It's going to be a 1:10 first pitch for those keeping score at home. Maybe looking to take a day off of work. New for 2025, all regular season weeknight games. So this is Monday through Thursday. We'll start at 6:40. So previously, if it was in the school season or during the school year, those Monday through Thursday games would start at 6:40. Well, now they're extending that on Monday through Thursday throughout the entire home schedule. So Friday game's still going to go off at 7:10. Weekends, commonly it'll be 3:10 or 6:10 on Saturday, 1:10 on Sundays. But I kind of like that earlier start time. Just with 2 younger girls in our family, we love going to Brewers games. The girls love it. That helps. The 6:40, it's not too challenging for us to get to. Games are going faster. We get home at a little more reasonable of a time. It's nice. That's a nice change.
Yeah, because once you get home, you're still a little riled up from the game, right? You can't just go to bed like that.
Oh, yeah, I can.
You can. Oh, you can? Okay.
No, commonly,
Do
no,
the
I
kids?
can't.
Do the kids?
The kids usually crash in the car on the way home.
Yeah, that's true.
Tickets for spring training games will go on sale November 18th at 10 a.m. The Cactus League season begins February 22nd in Arizona.
I'm still wired after a game.
I usually am too. If it's a great game, I usually am.
Right. Well, E. coli cases on the rise and the outbreak connected to slivered onions from McDonald's. You thought we'd heard the last of that? Well, nope. Here are the new numbers. We now know at least 104 people have gotten sick, and the hospitalizations now up to 34. That's according to federal health officials. Cases have now been detected in 14 states, so you've got one more state that's added to the map of states impacted by this. At least 7 people who got sick said they ate McDonald's while traveling. And isn't that the truth? I know some people like to go to McDonald's a lot, but honestly, that's the only time I have it is when I'm on the road. It's like, oh, let's stop here real quick and get something. McDonald's officials say the company has identified an alternative supplier for the 900 restaurants that temporarily stopped serving the burgers with onions. Over the past week, those restaurants resumed selling quarter pounders with slivered onions.
12:13 on WTMJ, our weekly check-in with Joel Brennan, president of the Greater Milwaukee Committee. They had a very interesting meeting earlier this week with the interim superintendent of MPS. What was it like in that room? We'll get the details from Joel after this.
Throughout history, some people have been born into greatness because of their name or family. Others gained greatness because of their actions. On Wisconsin's Morning News, we celebrate everyday heroes, the John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they woke up one morning they'd be saving a life. Everyday Heroes, Thursday at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News, presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Hey, who's getting hungry? I'm telling you, if you're looking to make it an easy but delicious dinner tonight, all you got to do is pick up some Palermo's, put a few in the freezer, pop one in the oven. You're going to be happy. Everybody's going to be happy. Palermo's on the table? Yeah, that puts smiles on faces. Check out Palermo's wherever you like to shop. Festival Foods, Pick and Save, Sendik's, Piggly Wiggly, Woodman's, you name it. You'll find Palermo's frozen pizzas. Connie's Urban Pie, love the Screamin' Sicilian. My wife is a big fan of the Primo Thin. My kids will eat just about anything, but they love the breakfast pizza. Yeah, they have that too. You can find it. It's Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza, celebrating its 60th anniversary.
Hi, I'm Chef Paul Bartolotta of the Bartolotta Restaurants with the perfect gift idea for your holiday season. A Bartolotta gift card. With so many unique restaurants to choose from, Ristorante Bartolotta, Bacchus, Lake Park Bistro, Harbor House, and more. They select the restaurant, we create the memories. So purchase a gift card at bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta Restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
Lots of clouds, a little bit of drizzle, cool temperatures here in the 50s, really for the next several days. It's kind of where we'll be hovering between 53 and 59. Next chance of rain comes in the morning hours on Sunday. Not terrible temperatures here. We're above normal. Nights are going to be somewhat reasonable in the 40s. It's kind of a consistent weather pattern here. A lot of clouds, a little bit of rain. 12:15 on WTMJ. Everyone's favorite Joel is Joel Brennan, president of the Greater Milwaukee Committee. He joins us in studio every Thursday. Hello, Joel.
How are you?
I'm doing great. So last time we spoke, you were about to have a meeting with the interim superintendent of MPS. I know that meeting has happened with your Greater Milwaukee Committee group. Anything telling? Did you learn anything from that meeting? We know MPS is riddled in challenges to overcome here.
Yeah. One, I thought it was great for him to be present with a group of civic leaders. He did not give a big presentation. It was really a conversation with the community. And there were a number of questions that our members had put together that I asked of him, some that I came up with on my own. He introduced a number of new players inside MPS. As you guys are aware, when the former superintendent left, there were also other high-level staff that left at MPS. They filled in some of those, so it was an opportunity to introduce them to the community. But then we dug in on some issues, specifically like around where things are with the long-term facilities plan. And, just to throw out a couple of stats for you, the Milwaukee Public Schools, I think, has about 150 school buildings now. And that was built for when they had a much larger student population. It's dropped by about a third over the last 20 years. But think about this. In the last 15 years, there are about 25% fewer live births in the city of Milwaukee than there were prior to that. And so, one, we've got too many buildings. Two, the kids who are coming along, we're not going to have more to fill them unless there's a huge influx of new population, which we all want, but is not happening overnight. So there is more real estate than they need. And I think they've gone through, and part of the conversation was around how are they thoughtfully trying to do that. And it's inevitable that we're going to have a smaller group of schools. But how do we do that in a thoughtful, constructive way? And that was some of what the conversation was.
I feel like you're always an optimistic person, so I'm curious, what did you glean out of that you really liked? And then on the flip side, was there anything that you heard in those answers you're still concerned with?
Well, I mean, what I like the fact that he showed up. I like the fact that he was there to take questions, not just from me, but from people. And I even, I've said that there is anger in the community over what happened related to the financial stuff that the mismanagement that was revealed, and that's appropriate. It's in the community. It's the civic community, the business community, residents and parents. So being there to just do that, and the notion that I think he agrees and the district agrees that it's inevitable that we're going to have fewer school buildings than they need to manage for a smaller number. So all that's constructive. I think if I walked away from it and the members who were there, I think that if there's something that's a challenge just overall, it's understanding the level of urgency around this. That so regardless of what they do, they're not closing any school buildings for probably another couple of years. And in order to thoughtfully have dialogue around that, maybe that's appropriate. But we can't continue with the status quo. Anybody who embraces or thinks that what we're doing for kids who go to school in the city of Milwaukee, whether they're in the public schools or whether in their charter or private schools, I don't think anybody believes that we're doing it well enough and that we have the level of urgency that's necessary. So that's some of what the immediate reaction I think that I heard from a few of our members, and I think we all feel it, but what action steps are we taking?
Well, in a high level of transparency too, right? I mean, to be candid, he's kind of inheriting a mess here. He didn't cause the mess necessarily, but he is responsible in part for trying to help dig out of it. So transparency is seemingly what was lacking for a number of years.
A long time. And I think, again, the fact that he and his team were willing to be there and they've opened up and invited others to be part of that conversation. But yes, I think that is that's a generational issue at MPS. And from the business community standpoint, I think for a lot of businesses, they did work with MPS over the years, and MPS had challenges being a good partner and challenges around transparency. And some of those, to be candid, some of those groups and some of the business community turned to the private schools, to charter schools, to places where they thought there could be more innovation. And that's where a lot of the focus has been. I think we need to make sure that we as a community are turning back to the more than 50,000 kids who are going to the Milwaukee Public Schools. But we also just can't accept that the outcomes that we've had over the last 25, 30 years, that those are inevitable and that we can say that that's good enough for our community.
Another big topic here in the city of Milwaukee that's maybe not so much a challenge, but an opportunity is our lakefront. And you had a meeting with a bunch of lakefront stakeholders this morning. Were you talking about ways to make our lakefront even better?
Yes, that was it. We started the meeting by putting up on the screen a picture of the lakefront in about 1940, and you've seen pictures of it over time. But in 1940, what it showed was there were 4 or 5 baseball and softball diamonds, like where Discovery World and the Art Museum are. That's what happened on the lakefront in 1940. And so, but they did actually at that time also host a music festival that during World War II that drew up one year, I think, upwards of 1 million people. So there were good ideas even back then. And part of this was, stakeholders like the Art Museum, Discovery World, Paul Bartolotta, who I just heard, and other private and public sector, the city, the county, the parks were there. And really it was, there are all these things that have happened. There's probably $2 billion of combined investment along the lake when you add Northwestern Mutual with the Art Museum, Summerfest, Discovery World, what the parks are doing. Like there's all this that has happened, but there's still some challenges. Now you have the Couture that's been built right across this Lincoln Memorial Drive. So safe access for pedestrians and people coming from downtown to get to the lakefront, like that is a bigger issue than it was. For about 10 years, there's been a plan to put a pedestrian bridge that would be attached to the Couture and land in front of Discovery World and Summerfest, and that was part of the discussion too. Can we do some things? Is there a way through working together there in a collaborative effort to find potentially state or federal dollars to leverage those with private investments, so that the lakefront, which should be everybody's neighborhood and everybody in the community, can be a place that we can continue to celebrate, and it continues to draw us together as a community.
I think about what Michigan has done on their side, not to give too much credit to our neighbors to the east, but they got the coastline figured out. Like, it's beautiful driving up and down there. Is there room for any level of expansion that way? I just think about some of the barriers, perhaps, aside of downtown. You've got residences on the lake as you start to push north toward Ozaukee County. You get to Port Washington, they do a pretty good job, and there's kind of a gap till you get up to Sheboygan. It would be wonderful to have this, beautiful meandering drive down the coastline to ease your way into Milwaukee County with more places to stay and play.
Yeah, and I think that's I spend more time on this side of the lake than that side. I have to, admit I'm a homebody, but I do know that there are ways that they do well by activating that. To my way of thinking, there are things that we can and should be doing. There are pockets of great things. If you just think from the north end of Veterans Park down to Summerfest, all of the ways and the activities that are going on there. But if we can knit those together in ways, there was someone who was sitting there today who said, what you want to do is make sure that there is an additional thing that somebody does. They come down to do one thing. What are the one or two other things that they're going to do? That's what really draws both your residents and people from the outside when you've got a collection of things and you make it easy for them to do those things together. And that's some of the conversation. And I hope in the coming weeks we'll be coming out as a group and talking about the ways that and some investments that can be made that will knit these things together in a little bit more of a cohesive way for the benefit of the community.
Well, and I'm curious if there were any other specifics. You talked about, pedestrians being able to safely get from the Couture over to the other side. And I know we've talked a lot about Summerfest and just the Henry Meyer Festival Park doing things in the winter months. But is there anything we haven't heard of that was just kind of roaming around there? People had ideas of this would be really great.
Well, there were a couple of specific ideas that we talked about. One, there was this going back like 9 years. There was a contest that the city did around what was called the Lakefront Gateway Project, and it was supposed to be the pedestrian bridge coming out of what was then just the planned Couture that would land in front of Discovery World and then activate a public setting there where you could have ice skating during the winter and a coffee shop. But the people who work and who run the organizations on the lakefront, they're visionaries, but they're also practical. So we talked about there are no public bathrooms that you can get to down there. On Lakeshore State Park, there's still an effort to build a pavilion there, and there's there could be opportunities for the DNR to do some additional educating for a park that gets 450,000 people to come to it every year. So those are the kind of practical things we can do.
And Lakeshore State Park, what they had there years ago, visualized for that spot, was intense and really wonderful, but it also costs a lot of money, and you have people donating to all of these big projects in town, and you really need somebody to kind of pony up a chunk of change to make that happen.
And I think what they have done is they now have slimmed down. They have they still have a vision for what that can be, but they've made it they've right-sized the price tag on it a little more, and frankly, we're going to the state and to the state DNR and state government to see if they can't contribute something to it and leverage some private investment in that the way that public-private projects should be done.
When are you doing that?
For this budget cycle, we'll be trying.
There you go. Joel Brennan is the president of the Greater Milwaukee Committee. Always looks sharp in his sport coat. Appreciate you coming in, Joel.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. We'll check it again next week. It's 12:26. News coming up.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guests, West Bend Vacuum Center and CertaPro Painters. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Hey, Greg Matzik here. Want to get you down to Potawatomi Sportsbook. Man, that place is beautiful. We were there last night for the weekly wager. Saw some of our ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ fans. Always cool to connect with you. And if you've not been to the Sportsbook, you got to check it out. The games are always on. Whatever game you're looking for. Sundays, during the football season, I'm telling you, the buzz is incredible. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook at the redesigned and reimagined Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee. Dozens of self-serve kiosks. They got that 2,000-square-foot video wall, seating for over 200. The restaurant is great. Had a wonderful chicken Caesar salad last night and a bowl of chili. That was good. Very comforting. Bison chili. I loved it. You can get it at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Check it out and enjoy all that's new inside Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee.
Can a local bank provide all the big bank services with the friendliness of a small-town neighbor? Waterstone Bank has been doing it for more than a century. This is your Waterstone Bank, and we're invested in the community, supporting education, women's and youth programs, and honoring our brave veterans and frontline heroes. We're at the heart of it all. Welcome to your Waterstone Bank.
Welcome back, Susan. How can I help you today?
Learn more at WSBOnline.com. That's WSBOnline.com. Member FDIC.
Opening day's not quite here, but Hunt Week is on at Fleet Farm, your hunting headquarters. Get a Maverick Weather Repellent 5-panel hunting blind on sale for $689.99. And get a hot deal on our Orange Friday warming seat cushion, now just $6.99. Plus, take half off an Orange Friday Performance Fleece hoodie, now only $14.99. Get all your gear at the best prices, guaranteed, from Fleet Farm. And good luck this season.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, they clicked on the blue button. We sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. We also let them know about Accunet's property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval did include that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with the local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. We'll also likely save you $1,000 to $3,000 in closing costs for exactly the same rate as your bank. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Thursday, November 14th. Your top story, a legal loophole angers residents in New Berlin.
I'm Jessica Ty. A milestone reached in Appleton.
Patchy fog, drizzly conditions today, mostly cloudy and a high of 53. Partly to mostly cloudy on Friday with a high of 53. It's 50 and cloudy in Milwaukee. At 12:31 from the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a registered sex offender in New Berlin who police say has the potential to reoffend will be able to live close to a public park, all because of a loophole. Nicholas Weaver is set to be released next week.
He's had multiple offenses, the most recent, a sexual enticement of a 14-year-old girl. He's going to live at a home on Linfield Drive, which is very close to Weatherstone Park. In fact, it's within 500 feet, which violates the New Berlin ordinance for sex offenders. So why can he live there? Well, during a notification hearing on Wednesday night, police explained to residents the man can be there because he lived there before the ordinance ever went into effect, which means, according to cops, he's grandfathered in. Weaver will be under GPS monitoring. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
No more lead water pipes in the city of Appleton. All 346 public and private lead water pipes have been fully replaced. The mayor and common council moved to accelerate the plan back in 2020 with the goal of finishing by the end of this year. The city will now work on replacing any galvanized piping within Appleton.
Former Wisconsin legislator and judge Fred Kessler has passed away after a recent cancer diagnosis. Kessler served on the state assembly for nearly a quarter of a century between 1961 and 2019, while also serving as judge in the 70s and 80s. He was 84 years old.
The feds slap a big fine on Ford. CBS's Jeff Gilbert.
Ford will pay a $167 million fine after government regulators say they didn't recall vehicles with bad rear-view cameras in a timely manner. Ford has also agreed to independent monitoring for 3 years. They'll also review all of their recalls over the past 3 years to make sure there are no issues.
Ford has also agreed to build a new lab and change its decision process on recalls.
Well, Patty the Hippo has died. The Milwaukee County Zoo says the 55-year-old animal died from severe gastroenteritis. Patty was a fan favorite. Behind-the-scenes tours of the enclosure and contributed to numerous research projects on hippopotamus care. Hippo Haven is now closed for the season. It's anticipated to reopen in the spring when viewing of the zoo's remaining hippo family will resume.
Another A-list concert coming to Milwaukee.
Let you cut me open just to watch me burn. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be.
Lincoln Park returns to Milwaukee on August 25th at Fiserv Forum. This marks the new metal band's first show in Milwaukee since 2015 and their first since acquiring new lead singer Emily Anderson. Tickets go on sale November 21st at noon.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:34.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Keep the elements out of your home with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
We had howling wind coming through. The rooms were freezing. We were very apprehensive about changing them because we were worried about losing the charm of the home. We went with Pella because we knew that they had an amazing reputation. We knew that they were going to have the windows that would look like they'd been there forever, but with all the functionality that a window should have.
Order from Pella today and get no interest and no payments for 12 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 11/30/2024.
Hey, WTMJ fans, Gary Olson here from my friends at Best Electric Service, an A-plus Better Business Bureau, family-owned and operated, who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making electrical panel upgrades, home electrical safety inspections, electrical vehicle charging, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality services at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
Hey, thanks, Gary. Bucks Insiders coming up. Our chat with Steve Novak is sponsored by Pella Windows and Doors and Best Electric. Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Giannis, a one-man wrecking crew last night.
Giannis with 16 seconds to work with, drives inside and stuffs it down with the right hand. 59 points now for Giannis. He's tapping his chest as he goes the other way, saying, "This is my house. This is my house."
Dave Kane with the call. 127-120 the final. The Bucks beat the Pistons in overtime. They'll play the Hornets in Charlotte on Saturday. And 52 of the Packers' 53-man roster practicing for the second straight day.
Let's get an update on your roads with the WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver crash. Time saver traffic, Greg. I got crashes on my mind because we have a new crash that just popped up minutes ago. It's in Milwaukee County. 4394 south at the ramp from Beecher Street, left shoulder blocked due to a crash. There's a decent amount of traffic, too. So just a heads up there. Traffic moving a little bit slower as it goes by that crash. Hopefully it'll be cleared in just a few minutes. We'll see. I'll keep you updated.
Traffic is sponsored by the Heiser Automotive Group. For convenient car shopping and financing, visit Heiser Automotive Group at one of their 4 locations: Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Lincoln, and Cadillac. Or visit Heiser.com because today's your day.
Cloudy today, a high of 53 degrees, overnight low of 42. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 53. We warm up just a little bit on Saturday with a high of 55. Lots of clouds, a little bit of rain, and mild temperatures. It's 50 and cloudy in Milwaukee at 12:38.
your all-you-need-to-know segment centered around the Milwaukee Bucks.
The long wait has ended. After a half-century, the Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again.
It's Bucks Insiders, every Thursday at 12:35. Sponsored by Best Electric and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
What does it say about those two? I know it's early in the season.
It tells you that we're very connected as a team. We don't like our record. We're starting to like it more and more with each win, right? But it tells you on the inside how close this team is and how much this team believes that we're going to be a good team. Because you don't see that effort from your veteran guys unless that belief is solid.
That's Bucks coach Doc Rivers following last night's overtime win over the Pistons. Felt like 6 games in 1. Didn't it? I just what didn't happen last night?
It was absolutely unbelievable. I'm telling you, I think I mentioned this at the top of the show, but it started off like the worst game ever, and then it ended the best. I love close games, and man, that one was so close. And we fought for that game. Man, Giannis fought for that game. Overtime, and we got it, and we needed it.
Well, let's detail what happened last night. An incredible night at Fiserv Forum. We want to welcome in former Milwaukee Buck. You see him and hear him on the TV broadcast on FanDuel Sports, Steve Novak. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
I'm doing great. So thanks for spending time with us. I want your perspective here, Steve, because things were kind of strange at the start last night. Bucks very shorthanded, playing without Damian Lillard, no Chris Middleton, no Bobby Portis, a lot of firepower on the bench. You figured, okay, Giannis is likely due to have a pretty big night. But then he scores 22 of the team's 24 points in the first quarter. Yet the Bucks still find themselves later in the game down 18 points. So walk me through that dynamic. When one guy is totally popping off, but you got a lot of work to do to even get back on top of the team you're facing.
Yeah, and it really just was, I think, considering it was a back-to-back, it was just interesting to kind of watch it unfold because, we had just got done with the pregame show and we talked about how Giannis had only taken 12 field goal attempts last night, the night before against Toronto. And you thought, boy, that's a low attempt number for him. He's usually shooting, I think we showed a graphic in the pregame show showing he shot 27, 26, 21, field goal attempts, all the games, the 7 games leading up to that point. You thought, all right, he did what he had to do to win. It obviously was, we showed a package where his eyes were up the whole time. He's looking for his guys. He's getting AJ shots, making sure Prince is involved, yelling to Brooke, hey, you got a mismatch in the post, go down there. Instead of being the downhill attack, get it in the restricted area, dunk on everybody guy. He was, against Toronto, facilitating and seemed great with it and got the win and was, obviously, at this point, that's what's most important. But, to your point, at the end of the first quarter, the Bucks have 24 points. Giannis scored 22 of them, and the other 2 points were Brook Lopez free throws. So Giannis made all 7 of the made field goals in the first quarter, which, I don't think I've ever seen that. I've been around hoops a long time. It's remarkable in a 12-minute quarter with that many really good players. So it was shocking. And to your other point, and then the Bucks find themselves down 13 at half, down 18 at their worst. And you're looking at the box score and you're going, we've made only 4 3-pointers. We've only got 9 assists. We're getting outscored in the paint by 12, which is where Giannis, you would assume, since he's scoring all those points, he had 28 at half, is probably cooking Detroit. And to be honest, it just seemed like we were a little bit dead in the water. So, as you alluded to, things changed a little bit, but it's just remarkable to watch Giannis. He just needs to be celebrated more than he even is. I just think he's so many. How much time do I have, Greg? How long can I keep?
We have a lot of questions.
Well, you and Jessica both had sort of a bird's eye view of what was happening. I was watching on my couch, but I was amazed. And Jessica was right in the stands watching this.
Well, and the thing is, Steve, you talk about it felt like they were dead in the water. I felt that even with the crowd, even myself, and I'm always optimistic. I'm like, we've got time. We can get this. Don't leave. But it just felt like in the beginning that even the crowd thought, oh, gosh, this has been a rough season, a very rough game. But I felt like there were a couple of turning points, and I wonder if you agree and what you thought as far as turning points, because another one, when a guy in the Pistons, one of the players, pulls him down by his shirt.
Isaiah Stewart.
And Giannis just goes down to the ground. One, you hate to see that, period. But then it's like, that's our guy. We don't want him hurt. And the crowd just, was in an uproar after that. Then the Pistons guy gets ejected. But that felt like a turning point for the crowd and for the team as well. I felt like they were thinking, don't do that to our guy. We're coming out. It just seemed like they had a little bit more fire in their belly.
You couldn't be more spot on, and the fans were great. Doc mentioned it after the game too, but the moment you're describing in the third quarter, 9:71, Bucks are down by 8. Isaiah Stewart pulls Giannis down, gets ejected because he grabbed his jersey, pulled him out of the air. Giannis fell hard. Boom, he's gone. They throw him out flagrant 2 foul. Fast forward a few minutes, end of the third quarter, the Bucks are now up 85-84, right? They take the lead. They're like, okay, there's, like you said, there's been this energy shift, and it came from, I think, Giannis's teammates going, okay, like you said, hold on. But it was for sure Bucks fans. It was the folks at Fiserv. Energy. It was like, okay, hold on now. We got Malik Beasley for Detroit now, knocking down threes. He's talking a little trash. He had a great game, made 8 threes. And it was like, no, not tonight. And I don't think Giannis has the 59 points, has the game he has if that foul doesn't happen and if that run doesn't happen, because the energy completely swung after that. And, to see there was that unbelievably unfortunate foul call at the end of regulation where the Bucks, they knew that was certainly going to be with the play that they ran. They were all over it. Giannis did not foul them, but they called it. And then, Ron Holland, he steps up. He's made 11 of his last 12 free throws, misses both to win the game. And then, thank God, the basketball god said, we're going to give the Bucks overtime because Giannis is playing too well to end it here. And he just got better, had 11 of the 16 total points in overtime, and was emotional after the game. You go like, okay, well, why is he emotional? Because he played hard and he wants to win. No, because this team is struggling, and he's leaving it out there, and he's without some of his dogs, and you sense that. He's like, I need Dame with me. I need Chris out there. I need Bobby back. Ryan Rollins was out, and he's going like, look, this is a journey for me. Every game, it's just doesn't have to happen all at once, but this is a process, and he's like, I'm fighting for this, and I don't know. If you're a Bucks fan, you're like, what else do you want? This guy he's as good as it gets. And I mean that. I've been around a lot of guys. I play with Hall of Famers, and he's special. And I know it's just a win against Detroit, but just who he is, how he goes about it, and his leadership more than anything is just like, it's a treat. It's a treat. I hope he's here for 20 more years.
So, Steve, how should fans view the Milwaukee Bucks right now? There's a couple of different things that are swimming in my head. Number one, they've got 4 wins, and each of their wins have been against sub-500 teams and a couple of last-place teams that still, at this point of the season, only have 2 wins. On the other side of it, they've not been healthy since game number 1 against Philadelphia, and amazingly, with a record of 4-8, they are only, 1 win away from having the 4th best record in the East. Like, everybody is under 500 at this point except 3 teams.
That's the good news, I think, for sure. And, I do think as you're a Bucks fan and you're watching the Bucks, you see the stuff that's going wrong, the injuries and the losses, and you go, oh, my God, like, what's good? But to your point, when you look out, from bird's eye view, you go, okay, look, Philly's got this going on. The Lakers made some changes. They're not doing so good in the West. There's some guys, teams at the top, the Bostons, the Oklahoma Cities, the Clevelands that, we've seen a lot of, obviously, already in the young season. And so you just realize, like you're saying, it's just an 82-game season. The Bucks are, games in, whatever it is now, and there's so much time left. And to answer your question, who is this team? What does it mean? I mean, I do think you can't overstate basically the importance of being healthy. Obviously, the Bucks, if anybody knows that better than anybody, the playoffs the last couple of years with Giannis out and Chris the year before that. If they're healthy, guys are in their natural positions. If Chris Middleton's back and Dame is there, right? We got a point guard, we got a 2-man, we got Giannis, we got Brook out there, right? We got, maybe you insert some energy in with an Andre Jackson Jr. And so we don't really know who this team is right now because there's Ryan Rollins is starting, then he was hurt. AJ Green is out there in the starting lineup. He's a young guy still. We got Ajax inserted as an energy guy. So Doc is, I think, doing what you should do is mix things up when you're losing. Don't just keep going. Let's just bang our head against the wall again. Let's put some new energy. Let's try some new things. Let's see what sticks against the wall, and then you roll with it. But, I do think that for the Bucks, it's likely going to still be a process, getting guys healthy and getting Chris back out there hopefully soon and guys healthy. And so to your point, the Bucks are in a fine spot. I think anybody who knows basketball knows you got Giannis, you're gonna be okay. But there's been some bumps when we've been flat. The Bucks have been flat, so you just got to hope that we continue to work through that. And it's a long season, and I think you got to view it as such.
Speaking of those injuries, every day we're just hoping Chris Middleton will come back soon. But with Damian Lillard, that one was kind of surprising because a lot of people watched the game and then all of a sudden, he was playing in the one game and the next game, it's like he's out due to a concussion protocol. And a lot of people kind of miss that. So what exactly happened there? And do we think we'll get him back for the next game?
I do think he'll be back next game. I am not medical or have any other insight, only because like you said, a lot of people said, well, what happened? I watched the game the night before. He was fine. Why didn't he play?
Yeah.
He got bopped in the face, like in the forehead, by one of the referees who was calling a shot like no good. And you can picture, the referee waving his hands like no good, like a missed field goal. And Dame walked up behind him totally unfortunately. I don't mean to laugh, but I think, he's a boxer. I think he's probably laughing about it. He got knocked in the head, and next thing you know, concussion protocol is pretty strict. He said, we got this. We got bopped here. They looked at him. They talked to him. For whatever reason, they said, look, you're in protocol. It's 48 hours till you can play again. So kind of got locked in concussion jail, and hopefully he'll be out soon, and obviously just hope he is feeling all the way better so he can play against Charlotte.
Always does a great job at the TV broadcasts of Bucks basketball, former Milwaukee Buck, Giannis' former teammate, our friend, Steve Novak. Steve, really appreciate your time. Man, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Steve.
You got it, guys. Glad to be on.
You bet. We'll check in again soon. Bucks Insiders every Thursday, sponsored by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Best Electric.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? They're yours, and Progressive protects them both. Bundle today at Progressive.com.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlands.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you own a company, you know how valuable your loyal employees are. Show your gratitude with a company holiday party at the amazing Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford. The party rooms are free, and the world-class game room adds a ton of fun. Your holiday party doesn't have to be expensive. The Mind Chef will create a party to fit your budget. And if you own a smaller company, the Mind Chef is perfect for you. Book today for the best days and times. It's affordable. It's themindchefrestaurant.com. Check it out. And Thanksgiving is almost here. Just think how long it takes to prep, cook, and clean for your Thanksgiving dinner. Don't cook, relax with your family, and enjoy the Thanksgiving Day buffet at the Mind Shaft. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the Mind Shaft with everything you love for Thanksgiving. All you can eat, just $21.99. Kids and grandkids under 3 always eat for free. The Mind Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and also off the interstate in Oshkosh. Tons of seating. Close parking. Reserve today. MindShaftRestaurant.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Eyes Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacin-capted Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Well, some are calling it the grocery store of the future. One supermarket chain is experimenting with having robots collect your groceries for you.
A grocery store. It's run by robots. Discount grocer Save-A-Lot opened the new operation in Brooklyn, New York. The company has about 750 traditional stores, mostly in the Midwest and East. This is the first one that's automated.
So we have about 3,500 items or so we offer.
Bob Duane from Save-A-Lot says customers buy groceries through the Uber Eats app. When the order comes in, the robots go to work.
If the robots could pack my groceries in the bag and not smush the bananas and have it all concise, so the fewer bags the better, I think I'm in on the robot.
Well, I can kind of see where this is going, right? You sort of do the work on the app and you order your groceries, and then a robot packages everything up for you, puts it into one of Elon's cybercab things, and it just takes it to your house. And there's really nobody driving the vehicle, it just sort of shows up, right? It's automated from start to finish. My wonder is this: will the robots be effective avocado squeezers? There's a lot of squeezing going on in the melon section and in the produce section. Do they understand what a perfectly ripe avocado is? And what if you like your avocados a little less ripe because you want to give it time to ripen at your house?
It's not just about the squeeze with an avocado. It's also about the color.
Yes, right. There's a firmness. There's a texture. There's all sorts of kind of stuff here. Does it know how to pick out the right apple? I am a produce snob, and I don't know if I want a robot doing that. They've got to demand proficiency in this pursuit.
If we were in the produce area together, that might be disaster, because I also take a lot of time. I'm always turning things. The bananas, I want them a little bit green yet so they can ripen. I look at, oh gosh, the raspberries. When you take a box of that, I might spend 3 minutes trying to find the best box of the raspberries, because that stuff goes so quickly if you don't use it. You don't want that one spoiled raspberry in the middle there to just kind of disrupt the whole box. So
can't have it.
Yep, I'm there with you.
Okay.
But the thing is, you don't have that personal touch. Like at my grocery store, I got this lady who I love. She's always like, Jessica, da-da-da. You know, sometimes we talk too much at the grocery store, but you don't have that personal connection with the robot. But maybe you could. Elon did have some robots who were dancing and talking a little bit more. Weren't they playing like paper, rock, scissors too? They're becoming more human-like.
Robot to pick up after my dog after he does his business outside. Thumbs up. But I want to pick out my own coconut. It's 12:56. News coming up, followed by Spanning the State.
While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
The Brewers and the Bucks have been closely watching this Valley Sports parent company because fans want to know how they're going to continue to watch these games.
Entertainment.
Ryan Turek, Vice President of Feature Film Development for Blumhouse.
That movie really connected with audiences because it felt like it could happen to you.
And more every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
Craig Matzik here for Siding Unlimited. Truly siding and a whole lot more. Boy, we got a lot of rain over the course of the last night or so, about an inch or so by us. How's your house holding up? And we know what that rain's going to turn into. Is your house ready for it? You know what I'm talking about, right? You want to keep the nasty stuff on the outside of your home while you stay nice and comfortable on the inside. That could mean a trip to Siding Unlimited, because your windows need refreshing. Might need that new door. You might need a new roof, as a matter of fact. Siding, is it holding up? You name it, Siding Unlimited can help.